From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 20th, 2024. In a special operation overnight last night in Gaza, Israeli troops recovered the bodies of 6 deceased hostages. They are 75-year-old Alex Danzig, 35-year-old Yagev Buchstav, 79-year-old Chaim Perry, 80-year-old Yoram Metzger, 51-year-old Nadav Popplewell, and 78-year-old Avraham Munder, all abducted alive during the October 7th Hamas massacre. The circumstances of their deaths are unclear. Munder had been presumed alive up until now. Danzig and Buchstav had been confirmed dead late last month. Perry, Metzger, and Popplewell were declared dead in early June. The IDF shared footage from the operation saying the forces located a tunnel shaft about 10 meters deep leading to an underground tunnel route where the remains were found. The soldiers investigated the route and neutralized the blast doors, weapons, explosives, and hideouts used by the terrorists. The rescue mission, the IDF said, was concluded after prolonged combat in a built-up area and in multi-story buildings in which the forces carried out operations and searches that led to the elimination of terrorists. The IDF reiterating, "We will continue to operate in order to return all of the remaining hostages back home." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu expressed his heartfelt condolences to the families of those found and also vowing that the state of Israel will continue to make every effort to return all of our hostages, the living and the deceased. Israel's President Isaac Herzog said, "We must not stop for a moment from working in every way possible to bring back all the hostages, the living to the embrace of their families, and the dead to be laid to rest." He said this is Israel's highest moral duty. The recovery of the bodies today leaves now 109 hostages still being held in Gaza, now for 319 days. And the IDF continues to defend Israel's northern border with Lebanon amid ongoing rocket attacks from terror group Hezbollah, who today fired at least 75 rockets at northern Israel. The IDF said most were intercepted or hit open areas. There were no injuries reported. The IDF responded, hitting Hezbollah terror targets. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Egypt today after holding several meetings in Israel yesterday, all in efforts to try and shore up the ceasefire hostage release deal that is on the table, including meeting with Netanyahu, Herzog, and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, as we reported to you. Today, Blinken met with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, thanking him, the State Department said, for Egypt's partnership as a mediator on the ceasefire talks to secure the release of hostages and allow a surge of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. The secretary also stressed the importance of continuing to work together to prevent regional escalation in this critical time. A federal district court judge ruled last week that UCLA must do more to protect its Jewish students. This after a lawsuit brought by 3 Jewish students against the school, alleging that they were briefly prevented from entering a campus space by pro-Palestinian protests and encampments on campus after October the 7th. Judge Mark Scarsi said that in the year 2024, in the United States of America, in the state of California, in the city of Los Angeles, Jewish students were excluded from portions of the UCLA campus because they refused to denounce their faith. He said this fact is so unimaginable and so abhorrent to our constitutional guarantee of religious freedom that it bears repeating, which he did in his ruling, and issued an injunction against UCLA that requires that if any part of its ordinarily available programs, activities, and campus areas become unavailable to certain Jewish students, UCLA must stop providing those ordinarily available programs, activities, and campus areas to any students. UCLA Vice Chancellor for Strategic Communications Mario Sacco wrote in response that UCLA is committed to fostering a campus culture where everyone feels welcome and free from intimidation, discrimination, and harassment. But she said the ruling would improperly hamstring our ability to respond to events on the ground and to meet the needs of the Bruin community. She said, "We're closely reviewing the judge's ruling and considering all our options moving forward." Well, a hostage tunnel immersive exhibit was opened in Boston this week, giving a glimpse into the horrific reality of the hostages in Hamas captivity. B'nai B'rith International is the main sponsor of the audiovisual simulation at Boston's City Hall Plaza, which concludes this evening. It was developed in close coordination with hostages released from Gaza back in November by the Forum for the Families of Hostages in Israel. And the exhibit seeks to raise awareness of the plight of the hostages. Hostage family members have also been on hand at the site to speak with visitors. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, August the 20th at 7 o'clock. Dr. Rachel Fish discusses Israel education post-October the 7th, while Dr. David Patterson and Dr. Cary Nelson examine the surge of anti-Israel sentiment on American campuses. That's with ISGAP leaders Charles Asher Small and David Harris. At 8, Justin Pine speaks with Rabbi David Ingber, Senior Director for Jewish Life at the 92nd Street Y and founding rabbi of Romemu. At 9, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin is on L'chaim. At 10, it's the ILTV's Insider, which is also coming up next. At 10:30, it's an encore of the news. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 20th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.